Hello, my name is Connor Quinlan, and in this video I'm going to be speculating about a possible new full-frame camera coming out in the summer called the Nikon D600. And it basically sounds like what it's going to be. It's going to be a more entry version, basically, of the Nikon D800 with less megapixels and a cheaper price. And this is actually sounding like, if it turns out as great as the D800 was, a camera that actually more people would like over the D800. 36 megapixels of the D800 honestly is way too many for the majority of people, and really only something that's needed by serious studio and landscape photographers. But this D600 that's expected to be released will have a 24.7 megapixel sensor, which is the same as the D3X, and is expected to have a price tag even as low as $1,500, which is really incredible. So for those of you who are bummed out because you didn't get the D800 yet, you might want to hold on for a second and just wait for the D600, which is an even better price and will probably have similar image quality or maybe even better with less megapixels at higher ISO. One thing I do want to note before I get into the specs about this possible camera is that this video is being filmed with the D800 that I got recently. It's being filmed right now in full HD video at an f-stop of 8. And so you can get an idea while you're watching what the video quality and sound quality, camera alone of course, is like. So now on to the actual D600 speculation. So other than the amazing price tag and the large 24.7 megapixel sensor that this D600 will have, what are some of the other things we can expect to see? Well, the first is definitely that it'll probably be lighter and smaller than the D800 is now. I personally like the size of the D800 right now, but you know, I wouldn't expect it to be too much smaller though. The cool thing about the D600, and like a lot of Nikon cameras, and I even mentioned this in the D800 video, is that Nikon cameras tend to, even the lower models, tend to inherit more professional features, and that's no exception with the D600 here. It's expected to have the same LCD screen, the same 100% viewfinder coverage, which is pretty cool. You don't even see that in lower models. Same video as the D800, same ISO range as the D800, and it even shoots 1 frame faster, 5 frames per second it's expected to shoot, which is really incredible as well. That's actually the same as the D800 technically, which in 1.2 times crop mode, which is the same amount of megapixels, it's able to shoot 5 frames a second. So essentially what you're getting with a D800 for $1,500 more is just more megapixels. The D600 offers basically everything else that the D800 does at a much smaller price tag, and is looking to be, honestly, even in my situation, like the better camera. It's expected to also have dual slots like the D800, except it won't have a CF card slot. It'll probably have dual SD card slots. The one thing I was worried about with this camera, and that they were speculating earlier on, was that it wouldn't have a built-in AF motor, which for a lot of people that can be a problem. If you don't have an AF-S lens, it won't autofocus. But luckily it's looking like the D600 is going to have a built-in AF motor, which is also great. And then, like I said, the release for this camera is expected by the summer, possibly end of summer, before photokina in September of this year. So keep a lookout for that. And if you haven't ordered a D800 yet, you might want to keep waiting, see if this D600 actually turns out to be better or not. So in conclusion, obviously the D600 is looking like, if it does turn out as good as the D800 does, like a better alternative for a lot of people, even most professional photographers, than the D800 is. For weddings, photojournalism, things like that where you don't need an excessive amount of megapixels, the D600 might actually be the better choice. And honestly, with less megapixels at 24 megapixels, it may even perform way better at high ISOs than the D800 does now. And I'm telling you, the D800 performs phenomenally. If something like the D600 really were to come out, the only people I'd really recommend the D800 for are landscape photographers like myself, or really serious studio photographers who need the utmost quality in their images in order to get as sharp and as large, fine image as possible. So in reality, a lot of people probably won't need the extras that the D800 offers. So overall, it's looking like Nikon is making a big revolution with their cameras in many ways, not only with just the introduction of medium format photography into the DSLR world, but also now with the intro of a more affordable FX camera body that's affordable to people who are even beginner photographers. We're talking about a camera here that will be not much more expensive than the D700 was when it originally came out. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this camera has to offer when it's released. And this has been speculation about the D600